Remembering Our Spirits from the book Around the Year with Emmett Fox. July 22nd, 2023. A Rock Foundation. Read Matthew 7:24 through 27. Therefore, whosoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise person, which built their house upon a rock. Matthew 7:24. One of the oldest symbols for the human soul, the human spirit, is that of a building, sometimes a dwelling house and sometimes a temple. The first thing that has to be done by the builder of a house is to select a sound foundation. On the shifting sands of the desert, it is impossible to build anything at all. So, when the desert dweller intends to build up a permanent structure, they look for a rock. Now, the rock is one of the Bible terms for the Christ. And the implication is very obvious. Christ is the one and only foundation upon which we can build the temple of the regenerated soul with safety. As long as we are depending upon something less than the rock, upon willpower, upon so-called material security, upon the goodwill of others, or upon our own personal resources, we are building upon sand, and great will be our fall. I like this reading. I'm not in agreement with all of it. When I hear the word Christ, of course, I think of Jesus Christ. However, my belief, my spiritual belief and practice, is that my spirit is my Christ. So I am Sharon Christ. My husband is David Christ. My daughter is Lauren Christ. My son-in-law is Jonathan Christ, and so on and so forth. My mother is Roberta Christ. So the Christ in me acknowledges the Christ in you. Remember, take the best for you and leave the rest. I truly believe that a building is a really, really good example of my spiritual life. When I had my near-death experience, it was literally a wrecking ball that came in and destroyed every single thought, belief, perception, any ego foundation that I had built up for myself. It demolished it. And I got to start from scratch. I've been building a rock solid foundation with my spiritual practices since 1993, and I am so grateful. I am really, really, really grateful. Rock and sand, really simple, practical examples. If that metaphor doesn't work for you, then find one that does. Find one that does. This channel is about sharing our spiritual practices and tools that we all use, which are different, on a daily basis to stay in remembrance and increase the remembrance of the spirit of love that is within us. That's what we're doing. I 100% had an internal foundation built on sand. I was so externally defined and identified and attached to people liking me and also people disliking me. I sought for approval. I sought for attention. The other thing I would like to share, and I no longer do. Do I still have that part of me, that little teeny wounded inner child girl that can sometimes get triggered? Of course. However, I'm responsible for her. I'm responsible for caring for her and bringing her home into the light of the spirit within me, which I do. And it talked about our own personal resources. So, one of the places that I live and some of the languaging that I use in my spiritual practice is source. God, the universe, our creator, the spirit within us, our souls, they are the source, the capital S source within the great mind. I do like that phrase, the great mind. Conscious contact with the love that we are. That is our source. Before my near death experience and choosing to live alcohol free, I sourced everyone and everything outside of me, especially attention. I sourced it. And all it is a resource. God is source. Our spirits, the spirit of love within us is our source. And everything we see outside of us is simply a resource from source. And we're either in a fear-based relationship with those resources or a love-based relationship with those resources. Before my near death, 100% fear-based. Ugh. It was a rotten, rotten way to live. It sucked. What foundation are you standing on? The foundation begins with our thought life. Our thoughts, our cause. What are your thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions that you are holding about yourself that are perhaps fear-based and built on sand? Let's get rid of them and choose for the ones that are inside of us that are the truth that we have simply covered up with a bunch of sand. We get to push that sand away and discover the solid love within us, the rock. As always, take the best for you and leave the rest. Have a blessed day.